Hey, afternoon, everyone. Patriot Dave here, and we got Oksana, and then we have Ivan.
Thanks. Thanks for having me here. Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll ask.
I appreciate you all coming on because us three have never really done a video per se together, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, different perspective of things is. So I guess we were going to just start with Lemuria and um, whatever we can say about it and where it's at and whatever flows with you two. That's fine with me.
Yeah, it's a good topic.
Sure, whoever I to go. I mean, I've had it come through sessions. It's like Pacific Ocean. I don't really to go into where it is anymore, but yeah, Hawaii area has a lot of Lemurian energies. I mean, it's pretty much energy scattered around the world now at this point. So it's within the individual now. But yeah, basically there were, here before Atlantis, pretty much. Yes. I've had one person say that she had 3 eyes as a Lemurian being. So it just are very connected to the oceans, but also that would be connected to Sirius to some regard in some way. So, but yeah, just very connected to the earth. And it's just a lot lighter energy, more feminine energy than the Atlantean energy. So it's Hawaii is a good example. Fiji Islands it was in around the Pacific area. So yeah.
All right, go ahead, Oksana.
Yeah, well, I can base my information on what I've researched and also sessions, and it's kind of interesting because everybody talks about different timelines, and the continents kept shifting, and I mean, I see different things. I've seen battles over Lemurian battles when reptilians came and tried to take over the civilization that was under the water floor around where Bermuda Triangle is there. But then, as I said, it can be one timeline, and then the continent shifted, and some people talk about other parts, and that was quite large too. And I mean, I've seen them myself. They were tall beings. The way I see them, they have this interesting, the third eye area. It almost looks like an energetic cone type thing. I think this a cone comes from it, the idea, because it almost looks like, those triangular cone-like shells.
Yeah.
And they had this perception, they could see through, they get scanned, they have this echo radar kind of system, echolocation system type thing in their forehead area. That's what I perceive about them. And so they didn't have any hierarchical anything, but they did have wise people who lived there for a long time and could just like wise men. Society was all oriented towards, as I feel and see it, towards kids, because kids bring new imagination, new energies, and they bring in new frequencies, so new ideas, and everybody is a creator being. So, I mean, the different things basically are being created with each generation. That's what and they've lived for a long, long time. And also had the portals leading to other locations. But a lot of times I see also there's a civilization that I see under the water flow connected to Lemurians. You can call them Lemurians too, but they had this water portals. And I've seen like a few sessions now myself also that the reptilians who came by these giant spaceships, they needed minerals that the earth has, because they use them for building spaceships or fuel. And they basically stole some technology from Arcturians, from Syrians, to make their ships go in this invisible mode. And they would wait for those beings to come out through the water portals to catch them in that moment and to use the portals to infiltrate Earth. Because I see like they first infiltrated and took over the inner Earth, because that's where the essence of the Earth is. And you know, that's when I see they build some sort of, it's like a technology goes around the essence of the Earth all around. That's why we see this in Vatican, you know, sphere within a sphere, because this one sphere, I feel like, but it's a structure. It's kind of like, you know, holds the nucleus, the essence of the Earth from expanding and going into different dimensions. So kind of hold it in certain frequency, that metallic structure around it. But that's what I see. But yeah, once again, I can only base it on what I've seen in sessions.
Yeah, and go ahead, Ivan. Ivan was talking about the ties to the mermaids as well.
Yeah, the mer people is like a civilization. You know, it's kind of like the Little Mermaids or things like that. Of deep into the ocean. I mean, I believe they're still here. I mean, there are sightings of them. I'm assuming somewhere. I mean,
Yeah,
see, so I don't know if you can believe half of it, but either way, yeah, just like the merman, the father, the king of the mer people. I know I've known of others that can actually channel the mer people. That's all they do. It's like that's your talk about connected to the mermaids. So, but I've also felt the mermaids that, you know, they have the fin, you know, as their legs, but they can also change it to regular legs somehow. Some of them have that capability of shape shifting, so that's pretty advanced. So it's more higher
yeah.
dimensional, but yeah. So
turns into legs, right?
like
Because
that.
I remember that from Series B also, and that's where the connection, because I feel like we used to watch over Earth or any planet that would be formed, you know, like a baby planet, let's say, and then during the development, before it matures and acquires, you know, its own immunity to defend itself, like all this beings from different galaxies would watch over planets. And yeah, because my 11-year-old daughter, she sees, since she was 2.5, she sees disincarnated on the streets and beings attached to people. And she saw mermaids in Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
And we find shells that they're clearly like from the ocean in the lake.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, it used to be salty water, this you know, Great Lakes.
I think it did. I think it did before the shifts happened.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, well, also, I mean, this is a little bit off topic, but like
Yeah.
leprechauns are not just in Ireland. They could be anywhere. It's just I guess they're more seen in Ireland. So if you have that and you feel like the Great Lakes, you know, or used to be oceans, yeah, there's no surprise there. Yeah. So
Right.
Well, yeah, we've even talked, you know, in the Middle East, how that used to be ocean water, and they shifted to, you know, did everything they did to corrupt the earth, you know, for their likings, I guess you'd say, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, the oceans seem like they're a lot, obviously. They feel like they weren't salt water back in the history. I don't think they were. So, and that's a whole another, you know, psyop, you could say. It's like there's the earth ward is energy, so like an attack, basically. So
Yeah, so you think in the original time that the salt water probably wasn't salt water when
I
the
don't
earth
think
was
so.
created?
Very in the early, you know, somewhere in time, it wasn't that way, you know. So, you know, so
Yeah, why, and you know, who changed it? I guess we can assume the nasty
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, I mean, our world is seen as like the child race, but I don't know. I mean, all this stuff that's going on here, it's like there's a little bit more going on than just a race of people that don't know what they're doing.
Right.
It's like there are other agendas here. It's like I think people aren't that lost. I mean, with all this control, yeah, you're going to be kind of lost. But you know, there's other things going on here. So
Right, it's because of the merging of timelines, that's where confusion comes from. And then people automatically think that, okay, this person says the truth and this one's not, but in reality, both of them are saying the truth. It just, they read different timelines and it's multi-layered. It gets really crazy that way.
It sure does. Yeah. Now, we did do a session on the mermaids a while back. It's probably been months, but I mean, where the government tried to kill them and all that, and some of them actually survived, but they were trying to like bomb them out of the waters and all kinds of nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And they survived. I don't know how many of them, but they survived.
In fifth dimension, it's kind of like my daughter always either closes her eyes and sees them. The same with beings, if she feels somebody in the room, let's say passing by, like and disincarnated through the wall, or out of the corner of your eye, that's when you are in this kind of relaxed more. And you can see this different dimension basically. So
yeah, finding Lemuria is really finding it within the individual. Be easier. Usually they have a wider energy. They're the ones that can connect to their spirituality still, but the rest of the world forgets. Like even the Atlanteans, some of them can keep their energy depending on if they're warlike or not. But Lemurians are usually of a wider frequency, so they're less likely to have amnesia. I mean, we're going to have amnesia no matter what, but they're more likely to remember.
That's interesting. Yeah.
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 So
Basically what happened, I've seen a lot in the sessions when the battles happened, when, let's see, it's like a interstellar coalition. There are different groups and of beings trying to help, let's say Earth, right? So we wouldn't be taken over. And then when the battle happened, a lot of different beings from different galaxies trying to defend it got defeated by reptilians, right? Reptilians took over them. When they were coming out of their bodies, they would capture them, trap them in, and make them incarnate on Earth. So that's why there's a lot of people, like you said, who have amnesia, but they've actually been Lemurians who were defending Earth to save Lemuria, and then there's so much, and then the religion happened and all these layers of deception and control, plus the new age, why did they create angels? I mean, it comes up so many times and my children see it clearly, because reptilians created angels through religion to make people believe, in which they basically kind of took over this angelic realm and they shapeshift into angels and deceive people. So, I mean, there's so many layers, and because we get so programmed also by those groups of people, who go for spiritual development and growth. And then it's hard, even in trance and hypnosis, sometimes people just their mind, logical mind takes over and like, but he's my guide. But see how they made you believe in all this? In reality, you don't really need anybody to guide you. You're supposed to be yourself, your own guide, your own everything. Yeah, that's multiple layers here.
What's your thought on that, Ivan, about the
the guides? Oh, it all depends. It all depends on your relationship with them. There are to help, but some guys are here to not help. Sometimes your friend here on Earth knows more about you than your own spirit guides. So there is you take what you do what you need to do, but they can be helpful at times, and other times they can be, I don't have the best relationship with my own guides. So just, I guide myself usually. So I agree with that. But, the guides do have some purpose, even if they don't know what they're doing sometimes. So
yes, as long as they are aspects of you incarnated in other realms, or it just depends. You have to check whether, because they can, as we know, they can shapeshift. Any reptilian can shapeshift into a beautiful Pleiadian and come to you in meditation and trick you, but
right?
It depends.
It all depends on the situation. Yeah. It's just,
Yeah, and that's one thing we've learned too, is like each one of us does different things to get to where we're at, and it's all for a purpose, you know. When we join together and share that information, it does help a lot of people. It really does.
yeah, it's just connecting to yourself what you feel is right. Even if you're find out is all wrong, it's still a part of your growth. So it's, you know, just as long as you're not beating yourself up with it. It's like a kind of like you're fighting yourself. It happens, and you gotta, you know, make wrong decisions and make right decisions. So you just have to, you know, stay strong through it all. So
Yeah,
it's not
positive, stay strong, you know, lose the fear, because we know what fear does to individuals for sure.
yeah, easier said than done, of course.
Of course it is, yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to keep driving it, you know, striving to get better, and that's how I go about it. You know, I make that joke that to me, or you know, maybe 10 years ago, Earth was hell because I let it be, but now it's not to me. Um, it's not that way anymore because of my thoughts and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yep. Yep. Right.
So I guess we can start with either one of you. It doesn't matter. What do you see energetically? Let's just say around the moon first, because I know it's shifted a lot up there, but there's still some dents that I see up there. Just wondering what your two perspectives was on the moon.
Yeah, I got 42% that they're working on it, but it's also, you know, depends. Everything has to be balanced, right? We can't just clear up this one aspect, which is kind of a part of 3D anyway, of this control system too. So if you want to get rid of all the control, we have to get to a certain frequency as a society, as one, to do it all together, because everybody decides for his self or herself, and we can't save anybody against their belief system, against their will. Maybe they're not at that level yet, and I agree with Ivan on that, because I mean, everybody has his own process, and we learn through our experience. And you just have to give people space and time so they can learn and get to the level for you to explain something to them. Otherwise, it'll be frustrating to them, and you'll just lose, you know, you'll just create a fight. You'll just create a, right, disconnect there. So we were moving towards, energetically, it's going to get better. But right now, is for what a lot of people believe and see. I see in comments a lot that you have to go to this channel, look at this information, or go to this channel, watch this. But I feel like, you know, we have to learn, take responsibility for ourselves to develop this ability to see for ourselves, feel through for ourselves, right? And what is it for you? Is it true for you that everything's cleared up and we can just sit and enjoy? Or do you think that we always have to continue our spiritual journey and work on ourselves nonstop until we, you know, we decide to get out of this body? And that's what I feel. You're always working on yourself, and it doesn't really matter if it's cleared up or not. But if it is, we sure will have, you will see the results. But right now it's still chaotic. It doesn't feel that way. It's a lot of chaos for some people who didn't do the inner work, who still in the program of relying on others, like going from healer to healer, and they all gonna help me, but I'm not gonna do anything to help myself at the same time. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel about the moon, but I also feel like it's gonna disappear at some point. It's kind of like transported as a headquarters, let's say, of a control system when we shift to another reality, because reality is, it's like a spiral of different densities. They're all together. It's not that we're going to the fifth dimension exactly. I feel like once you get out, it's all about the mind. It's all about this consciousness level. That's where you're going. You're not like losing your body in the process now.
Yeah.
But that's how I see it.
Yeah, I want to add about Lemuria real quick about feels that early Greece, maybe not part of our history, but more of a positive side of Greece was more Lemurian, Atlantean, actually both. So it does have Atlantean architecture, which I would say is
Wow.
where that came from, just to give you some. Before Greece became more brutal, because I believe they did fight the Atlanteans.
Huh.
So to give you
Some interesting stuff, though.
Yeah, before I go into the moon. So the moon, I feel, is like a projector of our reality, though. It's like it's part of, it's part of the physical overall. It's the agendas, it's maybe in the higher dimensions. It's, it's where the elite are in some form, but there are definitely alien bases there somewhere, obviously keeping themselves hidden. I mean, China's there, I believe, right now.
Yeah.
Rover. So, but they can hide stuff, it feels like, but there is definitely alien presence there for sure. So, it's good and bad. There are a lot of insectoid energies there, which make a great. I mean, we can see all that. It was just some of us are just have a blast seeing, and the rest of the society, I'm not sure how they'll handle that. So it's big bugs walking around. Typing on computers and stuff like that. It's like mantis beings. So
Yeah.
definitely Gray is there. Anunnaki is there. Tall, I would say tall whites. Everyone has their own little, section there or something like that. It's not really that clear, obviously. They don't want us to make it, but
Right.
But
Yeah.
I believe it's part of our agenda to have the world the way it is right now. So
Yeah, I think you're right.
And the sun gets manipulated somehow too. It's just
Yeah.
I feel like there's three suns, at least two you can see. The third one you can't see. Maybe it's the central sun of the Earth. Either way,
I think you're right. The center one we cannot see. Yeah.
But it gets weird when but people, they've seen like two suns in the sky every now and then.
I know.
It's like, well, figure that one out.
Nothing's happening. That's what people say. Yeah. Nothing's happening. I never seen two suns when I was a kid. That's for sure.
I've never seen it, but I don't think it's photoshopped or anything. I mean,
No.
so there's some, and especially like they have the planes that are frozen in the sky and all that. It's like a whole phenomenon. I mean, I don't think that's fake. I think that's real. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So either one of you go first. It don't matter to me. Like, how are you feeling the energies now, maybe compared to 6 months ago? Because there's no doubt that it's definitely raising in frequency. No doubt about it, in my opinion. I feel it. I don't know how to put it into words, but to me, it's just kind of like just slowly, going up. The only way I can say that's like a dimmer switch on the lights and somebody slowly turning it to the right to make the lights brighter. I don't know if that makes sense to people, but.
Right. The decorations are shifting, and a lot of, like, even at the moon, I see some groups are living, others are taking over. It's almost like they're selling some locations, buildings there, the domes, the biodomes. But then also the energies are, you can see it if you're observant enough. Look how people are getting magnetized towards each other, forming like little tiny groups, right? Like 2-3 people of the same kind of consciousness level, understanding, perception. And the other people kind of fall off of your reality. They just kind of disappear. They're still there, they're alive, but they disappear from your reality. And that's how we create, each of us. But right now it's more so that the energies, because also situation in the world, you clearly see who is who, and it's like pushing you to reveal yourself, to take off your mask. And clearly, you see a lot of people those who initiate the fights and those who are actually understanding, we need to give everybody space. We shouldn't be pointing fingers at each other. We should unite. So I definitely see consciousness rising this way because people became more observant and they given more time, and it's straight at their face. Look, that's how they control you, you know.
Yeah.
But I agree with you about the energies. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, we're going into a awakening that more of this will be taken more seriously. I feel it's maturing, more of the spiritual development that's going on. It doesn't mean the war is over just yet, though. It's like just because people feel like it's all over with, it's like, yeah, it's not going to be over until you know it's completely over, you know, and corporations are gone and stuff like that. Even there, that could still be, you know. But yeah, definitely, we're definitely moving into a more positive. I believe this is all be taken more seriously, somehow, some way. The main timeline is allowing it to come through, which is good. And people thought religion was confusing. This
Yeah.
is a lot more, but it does. I mean, the idea for our future is for us to figure ourselves out. I think we talked about that last time. Just
Right.
figure all this out, and not to say everybody, you know, if someone's wrong or not. Yeah, I mean, it's just that yeah, we said your reality. It depends on what reality you're on, and that's what makes it so confusing.
It really does. Yeah. And different timelines. Some of it's hard to put into words.
Yeah, but the Yeshua timeline, for example, or the time of creation, all of that, the Yeshua timelines, like some people feel like did happen with the cross, some people feel like it didn't happen. So you come from, and some people have actually had incarnations as Jesus. You see that here. People feel like they are Jesus and they are part of a Christ. Some people are definitely part of a Christ consciousness, but some people actually had incarnations as their version of Jesus. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit.
It's pretty
So,
deep,
yeah.
don't it?
So yeah, it gets kind of confusing.
I feel like based on the sessions that they brought the reptilians, right? The Draco reptilians, they brought the Christ consciousness idea, incorporated into a story of Jesus, right? So we can relate better and they can deceive us better. They can put us into this trap of following, but in reality we are all that consciousness. It's us, but they put it into figure. It's always has to be put into some main master guru. Somebody's higher than you, smarter than you, and so you feel like helpless, hopeless, not good enough, never good enough. As a matter of fact, most people feel that they need to learn from somebody, but they'll be jumping from one person to another trying to learn, but never stopping, you know. But then you have to learn from yourself first, about yourself, and that's when everything opens up. So for me, I mean, personally, what I've seen in sessions, like you said, that it's just basically just a figure, just a fairy tale, and a lot of fairy tales based on reality, but it's like a metaphor.
Yeah, it's or like you just follow your inner feeling. Like I use the Yeshua for example. Like some see Yeshua as a negative being on other realities, but they turn that off because society is not allowing that thought process to come through. If you allow that to come through, you figure yourself out more. Obviously, there's a lot of controlled belief systems around, making everything so difficult.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
yeah, it's hard.
If you look within, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not easy because then you start second guess yourself and you're not sure anymore. And you get all confused. It's completely understood.
Yeah.
That's the
Just
point
keep
of it.
doing it. That's what I recommend. Just keep going there.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't give up on if it's something that you feel that's right, you might not be able to get the answer now, but maybe down the line. Let it rest a little bit and reconnect to it again. So whatever it might be.
Yeah, and I got a new question that just came to me. So we all know that there's, Space Force has a station up there and we can see it, right? Somewhat. Well, about 3 days ago, so a week before that, a second one popped up that we could physically see to the right side of the moon. And I was wondering if either one of you seen what the new bright light in the sky was, but it disappeared a couple days ago. So it's something that's mobile, something that moves.
No, I haven't heard of it, but I haven't researched, but no, Ivan, do you know about this? There's been like some sort of vehicle there, like a spaceship or something that people saw and pictures of it.
I can connect to it. It feels like it went back to its reality. It should show up in our realm for a little bit, and then it went back to, so it does feel like a space station of some kind.
That's what it looks like to me.
So it feels like it. I mean, I haven't seen it. I have no idea.
That's the feeling I had when I seen it. I'm like, well, there's a
Yeah.
a new space station or something that came into our reality just from nowhere, of course.
Yeah, it's just things are, it's just, I mean, that's good you caught that or heard about it. It's just giving us little glimpses here and there. And it's like they can't be here for very long, but
Not yet.
because the collective isn't there yet. I mean, certain people are obviously, but
Yeah.
the collective isn't. It's a part of the conversation worldwide, which would be really interesting when of course, when it becomes worldwide news, it's going to be manipulated like just like it. But at least it's something. You're going somewhere. So
Right.
so,
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And it's not quite as bright as the other one, but it's pretty close. So now it disappeared. So went on the other side of the curtain.
yeah.
Right. And also like what I've seen in sessions, there's different kind of fuel technology, but it's very high frequency type fuel that they use for cloaking themselves. And I've seen it in, when I was looking at my situation, how, because I remember Orion Wars and everything. I remember being on a spaceship and then we ran out of this red kind of fluid. It's almost like red liquid crystal type, and that would help us cloak the ship, and you run out of it so you can't cloak yourself anymore. So that might be the thing too. So
That's interesting. Yeah,
That is interesting. Yeah.
that's different. Yeah, I could see something like that. Yeah, it felt like either way, it went back to where it came from, whatever reality it's supposed to be in, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of the crystals, a lot of the Zetas are always looking for just powers for their ship. Crystals, the power of their technologies, and they share it with the Pleiadians. And it's always about looking for power sources with all these alien beings. It's DNA and where we get our power from.
Yeah.
That's part of it, at least. So
Yeah. I have a few questions that somebody sent me. So I guess I'll just ask one of them. We got a few minutes. So it says, just in general, discuss the active call to duty SSP assets whose consciousness are being actively used in a spiritual war. And then the first question of that one is, what are the assets being called to do specifically, if we can figure that out?
So if your consciousness is used in SSP, basically that the question is, I mean, well, what I do in sessions, we just disconnect from programs and we delete all the files on their computer system. Usually on the moon, there is this database and computer room that we go to, and paper copies also, because a lot of it is just souls captured and used for SSP or sorted out, taken as starseed children and tested for different programs and then being used. A lot of deception there too, do you want to be a Superman, superhuman and stuff like that? It just depends on each situation. But I disconnected myself a long time ago, as I understood later on. And then it's kind of like it opens up as the more you dig, you understand who helped you in this process, how it happened. Because when you start growing in consciousness, you want to be free and independent and autonomous. So you don't need any of these ego hooks anymore. But also some SSP, I know some people who've been involved in SSP, and they also use their positions to help others to get out of the programs. So it's so individual, all this stuff, and it depends how your perspective on it, but it's all created by Jacob reptilians totally to kind of guard off their territory, control system over control system, use humans, technology, DNA or exchange, guarding all this.
Well, yeah, finding your SSP, the source of where you're getting the program from. A lot of it seems to be MK Ultra type of programs. So it's finding, it's like through fiction or science fiction, wherever it is that you can find your, that interests you. It's, those interests are there for a reason for you to heal yourself, you can say, and trigger the memories. So it's complicated, as you know.
And perspectives. That's what I like about, talking like this, because each person can find something I can relate to.
Right. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people, I just did a show earlier where there's so many people that don't know that they were SSP yet.
Yeah.
And when they find out, how are they going to deal with it the same way we did, I guess. I mean,
I feel everyone's had a connection to it. You might be a counselor, part of it. You might not be deep in the trenches of all this stuff, getting programmed and turn into who knows what, Arnold Schwarzenegger on steroids or whatever.
yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
So
problem.
we all,
They don't have no problem doing that at all.
Yeah.
Right. There's a room on the moon too. I've seen it in a few sessions where they have these pods where they keep souls, and they use energy to power up equipment on the moon too, in biodome. So like you said, almost everybody has a connection because we're all used for energy and for other things, depending on your etheric DNA and your abilities, what you can do for them, what you can be used for.
Yeah. You'd agree with that, right, Ivan?
Yeah, it's definitely. Well, the reptilians, I mean, they're connected to the Orions and connected to other beings too. Reptilians are just the soldiers of it. And then you have these higher ups that are, don't get their hands dirty. Some of them are elf looking people, from what I can pick up on. They have pointy ears like an elf being. They look like us, but just elves basically. And they're just, living the life. There's different ways of looking at it, but that's one of the versions of it.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Yeah.
So the next one, so this is a pretty deep question, and anyway, I'll just read it. And if no one is above another one, all human souls, children of God, why are certain bloodlines more favorable and considered more important or valuable and more protected than others?
Because it's a system of control. It's like matrix software programs. They need to create hierarchy in everything. Look how they, in everything, literally, right? Always listen to somebody who's older than you because he's wiser and things like that. But matter of fact, we kind of have to listen to our children more and more because they're the ones who bring in the new frequency and new knowledge, and they're more connected and more conscious.
That's a good point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, children are definitely, I mean, this is all about the children coming in, more memories, and where they're less belief systems to shut all that down. Of course, that takes time for that. But the control energy, Lemurians and Atlanteans, really. The war has not ended. A lot of the Atlanteans went to Agartha. A lot of the Atlanteans are angels. Now, if you want to say if they're the ones controlling, and however you want to look at that. So, but yeah, it's just the war has not ended. Atlantean energy is still here, obviously. You just have to know how to discover it. So, So
That's interesting. So yeah, I don't feel that, to me, it doesn't matter what bloodline you are. I guess if you're on the light side of things, you try to keep that bloodline going. If you're on the dark side of things, you try to keep your bloodline going that way.
well, yeah, part of it also is like the world was open up for us to be taught. So it's like, give us your hardest. This world can handle it. As you can see, it's still here. So it's like, give us your hardest lessons you got. Think about that. So you go to other worlds and grab their problems and bring them here. So it's like, and now we're here to sort it all out.
Out all right.
So yeah, so it's a university basically.
Right.
You
Well, I
have
want to think about
ahead.
bloodlines because based on the sessions, once again, and like the way I see it also, when Draco reptilians took over Earth, they basically wanted to infiltrate the mind, right? You have to control the mind of the inhabitants of this planet in order to control the whole planet. There are certain bloodlines that they manipulated genetically that they could actually take over and live inside the body, like inhabit the body of certain people in certain bloodline. That was important for them. That's what I see when you wake up and you cleanse yourself, you expand your consciousness. There's no room for anybody to get attached to you because there's literally no room. And they found a way. That's why they kept genetically manipulating to be able more and more to get inside the body and control the body. And they've always been working on this.
Yeah.
Since the beginning times.
This kind of goes into some of the things you already said, but does this spiritual war for humanity involve Anunnaki, specifically Enki and Enlil, or the battle between mythological gods, giants, etc.?
Well, those are the ones, the Anunnaki ones, who also were very interested in genetically manipulating humans and taking over. And I see they're hybrids, they're hybridized with reptilians, Anunnaki. So, but there are different timelines, depends which timeline you're looking at.
Yeah.
But they're very much, interested, and that's why they push their story with, it's a collaboration in between, because basically all this alien species started coming because the Earth was taken over. So, okay, let's divide territory. Let's, I'm interested in this kind of race and that. And we're talking about separate, like it's physical DNA and then etheric DNA. So some are interested more in physical because they can infiltrate the bodies. Others more in etherical because they can hybridize yourself by using your etheric DNA. So it just depends. But they played a huge role. I mean, because it's like I have these parts of me remembering that they manipulated the human DNA and they stole some technology from Syrians and some knowledge from us, right? Series A, B, and C too. I remember on my Series B, I had this, it was like a genetic lab. And then they built this on Orion. I see this like a pyramid kind of structure. It's also a genetic lab on Orion. I've seen it in a few sessions already. So it's very kind of complicated in terms, once again, depending on timeline. But yeah, I don't see Anunnaki as being helping us by any means. For sure, they have their own agenda, as any other ones do too.
So they're here to learn like we are too. I mean, some of the Anunnaki are in the higher elites. But the one way of seeing the Anunnaki is also you have a male with a lot of feminine energy, or the other way around. The Anunnaki is known as this experiment. And also, I think a lot of our drama came from them. So a lot of our, I get like the soap opera, some of that. They have not cleared out their problems yet. So they brought the problems here for us to figure out with them. So,
I think everybody brought their problems here. It looks like
seems to be the case.
that's why we came to this place. Yeah,
Well, yeah, another way is like, it's like, we come here to be tested. It's like, is that the best you got? What else you got? Okay, well, let's make it harder.
yeah. Let me see. We got a couple hundred different timelines. We got,
Yeah,
different
exactly.
realities here and over there. Well, what about the ENKI, Enki with the Anunnaki? Is that like what they considered a god back in the day, kind of, sort of thing?
Yeah, the genetic engineer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, then we go to the architect and to the Zeus and the whole Zeus and company group created by those as a control system also, that I see them in the middle of the universe, and I see this cube. I just saw it in the morning session again, filled with black goo, and then the human souls are used so the black goo can learn from them, and then the black goo is used to, it's just for different stuff, not only bioweapon, but also to control humans and to detach themselves from a soul aspect of them. Especially that's why it's used in SSP, because this way you kind of forget who you really are and you follow their commands and programs, you run on their programs.
Yeah.
Connected. It's all huge control system, multi-layered, lots
Yeah.
of, and that's why this confusion, it's like a snowball of confusion and everybody's confused, but it's made that way. We should understand that we should agree to disagree, because we all have different DNA, different perspective, different way we decode the reality we see, because it's a frequency band, and it's merging and spreading out. There's like timelines, you hop to this one, that one, and so exactly.
Well, Enki was, from what I could feel, it took all the different DNA, alien DNA, and just put it, made it work with the human, basically. Humans already existed before all of that, but aliens are warning through us. So, I mean, the human collective agreed to or not agreed, either way. So
Yeah.
we got it anyway. So it just made everything work. It wasn't working before, rather, but just Enki and Anunnaki figured out a way to make this all.
Huh.
So I guess we're out of our problems for the next 4,000 years.
More confusion.
Yes.
So I guess I'll move on to this next one. We got a few minutes still. Are the white hats utilizing human consciousness to influence the spiritual war outcome? Is that being kept secret from humanity? If so, why?
Do you understand the question? So if white hats utilized our consciousness?
Yeah.
Like they talk to us. I mean, I think that's what you're feeling now. Like you're feeling things improving.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Correlation between, for sure.
And then the second part is like, is that being kept secret from humanity? Well, I say yes, because we got to figure it out.
yeah. Well, that's like aliens showing up here. We have to be ready for their arrival or their appearance, kind of turn into the alien, basically realize ourselves, and oh look, there's a reptilian there and all that.
Yeah. The man is walking on top of your house. I mean,
exactly. It all comes down to that'll be cool. Yeah. It just we have to unlock ourselves, which we're doing now. It's no easy. There's no easy way.
no.
Make it through the day. Just keep asking questions, which is good that they're asking questions.
Yeah. What do you think on that, Oksana, with the white hats using us? And
it's like as consciousness grows, it can only grow. There's certain outcome here we are ending. It's like the end game, basically. The outcome they cannot change at this point. Nobody can. I mean, the consciousness is, everything is consciousness. If you expand it, everything expands. And at the end, you see that all this white heads or dark heads, and to me, it's like it's all neutral at this point, because when you feel your power and your understanding and your consciousness, it doesn't really matter. You kind of know where you're heading on your own personal level, and everybody should feel that way. And that's the way out of any trap. You know, there's always way out. You just have to respect yourself for your own personal beliefs and stand your ground no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what I was going to say to end it. And we can just each elaborate just for, a minute or two of, how to, for people to help themselves. And, I always tell people to meditate. I recommend them to meditate if they're trying to find, the light within, which attaches the source. That's how I found it.
mhm.
I don't know if you guys want to elaborate just a little bit, what you recommend for people to hit, to find the light.
So, Ivan, do you want to start?
Oh, you can go. if you want.
How to help yourself, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, you can go first, Oksana.
Sure.
Okay.
you go first, yeah.
Yeah, well, basically, just like Ivan said before, ask yourself questions and look at everything from a neutral observer's perspective. Don't get yourself involved emotionally, because the minute it's a trap, it's a big trap. You spend all your energy discussing this and that, and this person and that person, or this theory and that theory, or this group or that group, and you're getting nowhere. Trust me, you'll never get anywhere unless you kind of go into yourself and, okay, well, they got this perspective, they got this, they got that, and I got a different one. And thanks to them, I base my perspective on the knowledge I collected from each and every one. Little by little from everybody, and even those that we consider, like New Age, religion, and all this. I mean, didn't we all kind of get into this trap and waiting for aliens to come save us for a while here and there, and got frustrated, and that frustration was a great catalyst for us to go research maybe something else, maybe we don't understand something. So everything kind of like a step, everything serves as a certain level or step for you to understand more and more and more. And at some point you just trust your own self. You don't need even the confirmation from anybody else anymore, because you've been going through this. People do, it's different stages, right? Sometimes we just need, okay, I feel this about this movement or this teaching, and then your friend tells you the same, and then you need that. But at a certain point, you just don't need anything. You stop watching any videos. You might just watch one channel maybe, and only some of them. And the same thing, like people watch the sessions, right? Or personal experiences, how people get rid of entities, attachments. And then at some point, you feel like, I don't need it anymore. I learned everything I could possibly learn. And now I am a sovereign self, and I develop my own intuition. I trust myself at this point to process everything for myself through my filter of perception. So there's no need of discussing anything or fighting with anybody. You just understand it's kind of like a neutral canvas where you can paint your own reality the way you want it. So, and you can get rid of everything automatically just through your understanding. You raise your consciousness, you understand, and you state in your own energy sphere, I want to be independent, and I cancel out all the agreements I've ever given. So
Yeah.
get with my energy sphere, please. Now I understand. Because it's also experience. All these attachments and etheric implants that you remove, or entities that are affecting you mentally, emotionally, it's also experience, right? You kind of feel like how it felt back there when you had them, and now you're clean, you feel totally different. And that gives you the understanding how the mechanism of interference works, not only from entities, but from people also. you know, you can be psychically attacked. You feel it, but you can also say, well, I know I'm being psychically attacked, and I know how to raise my vibration, and so everything disappears, no effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much kind of the same thing what she said about just follow your feelings, and it's always, you know, you go through fact checker, you ask other people what you've maybe picking up on this and that about yourself. You're not sure if you had recent lifetimes in Egypt or Greece or wherever it might be. It starts to speak to you, and just, you know, just keep digging into your own consciousness, and the things will come out little by little about yourself, and it just takes a while. Yeah, meditating is good, protecting yourself is good, calling on your angels or whoever you want to call on. If you don't trust angels, trust somebody for extra help, or you just use your own energy, but you know, whatever works for you. But protection is a big thing for all of this too. They clear out trickster energies, so always watch out for the tricksters. There's plenty of them here. This is pretty much their land, so
Right.
so just do the best you can. Really, just have fun. Have it be fun. Even if you are wrong or what, you know, no way to tell anyway half the time.
Yeah,
Especially with the spiritual connection.
for sure. Right.
Past life or something like that. If you feel like you have a past life with, you know, famous people, either you know that person or you had an incarnation with them in the past, you know, for you Julius Caesar in another version of Earth, possibly. So just go with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Well, thank you both. I guess we'll end it right there. That was perfect.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's very nice meeting you. Thanks.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.